Good evening to one and all present here. Welcome back to the fourth day of the 5-day national workshop on Next-Gen AI tools. I hope that the insights shared for the past 3 days would have helped to take research to the next level. Today is the fourth day of the workshop, and I am very much delighted to invite Dr. Sydney Shirley, Associate Professor and Dean of Arts, Department of English, Scott Christian College, Nahokoil. She has guided nearly 14 PhD research scholars and she has published many research papers in UGC Callister and Scopus Index journals. She has also received Teaching Excellence Award in 2019 and served as a resource person for various workshops and seminars. It is our immense pleasure to welcome her to deliver her talk on the topic Revolutionizing Research, AI-driven documentation. Ma'am, the session is yours, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Dr. Blessy, for those warm words of
Thank you,
introduction.
ma'am. Thank
And
you.
I'm very grateful to SRM Ramapuram for having invited me for this online program. So I'm extremely glad to the head of the department and all the faculty members for this cordial invitation. Thank you. And all through, we are having a very wonderful workshop on next gen research tools. And and we have had 3 days of our program with Dr. Lily, Dr. Jiva, and Dr. Aravind. And all these sessions have thrown great light on so many aspects that are off trend in today's area of research. And what I'm going to do today is just a continuation or maybe a kind of adding to what they have put across, though I may touch upon some of the ideas that have already been shared by these great speakers. So, today my topic will be more on documentation using AI tools. Well, I do hope the screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
So, the topic that I have for today is a very interesting and challenging topic, an area that has been of great fear to many a researcher because this is where many guides and scholars do have lots of arguments and lots of discussions also. This is the area of documentation. And this documentation, which actually has been a challenge for quite a few years, has now become a very simple area just because of our access to AI tools. And as already was pointed out yesterday, many a time what happens is we can easily collect materials, we can easily start our research process, but there are quite a number of problems when it comes to documentation. And as literature based faculty and students, one of the main books that has been prescribed for us is the MLA 9th edition. And this is the book that is in vogue today. And this is what most of us as literature students do follow as the holy book for research. But what we see is there is quite a lot of change, and this documentation, which has been a very tough process, is now made very simple just because of these AI tools. Now, I'll just move step by step. First, what do we mean by the research process? Now, the research process is actually trying to find out a research problem. And what is this research problem? This is what in literature we term as a primary source. So once a research problem is chosen or selected, okay, following discussions with a guide, the researcher has to collect a number of related literature so as to prepare the survey of literature in order to find out what the research gap is. Because a research is actually an answer to the research gap. And following this, we also have the collection of secondary sources and the interpretation of the primary source in association with the secondary sources. And the last step is preparing the research report along with the documentation. Now, while talking about documentation, why is documentation important? Actually, documentation as such helps us to show the origin of the source information. And during research, what happens is there is always a blend of personal ideas with ideas and information from other sources. And documentation is an aspect that helps us to differentiate which ideas belong to the researcher and which ideas and informations have been taken from another source. We should always remember the need to put forth the view that what has been borrowed must be put across, because what is ours, but what we have borrowed or what we have maybe gained access to in the form of information and ideas have to be documented. And while talking about documentation, we have two main forms of documentation. One is the in-text citations, and the next is the references. Now, while talking about in-text citations, here also we have two main types of in-text citations. One is the parenthetical citation, and the next one is the narrative citation. And as most of you who are listening, I'm sure, belong to the research field, you will know what parenthetical citation is. It is nothing but mentioning the author and the year of the document that has been borrowed. And in a narrative citation, what we do is we mention the author along with the text that is being put forth. So, this is what happens in text citations. And we also have the last part of it, that is a works cited list or the references. And this is an area that needs quite a lot of very careful observation and careful documentation. So, this as such puts us across to what the research process is. Now, why is traditional documentation with lots of limitations? One of the main things is that, remember, we have to go in for manual data entry. And we know when anything is done manually, there are lots of chances of mistakes cropping up. And when we go in for a manual data entry, it is a very time consuming process. There are chances of errors and inaccuracies. And when resources tend to be very intensive, it is very, very difficult. And we also have limited data insights. Now we have the revolution in the field of research. And why this revolution? This revolution has all come about due to advancement in technology. Now there is a great transformative shift in the field of research. Earlier, humans used to write, analyze, interpret text, and put across what they thought personally, or refer to books and put across ideas from other writers. But now, with revolution, what we find is there is a lot of change. Data, as such, is very vast, ever growing, and very diverse. And there are lots of possibilities also for interdisciplinary researchers from different disciplines to collaborate and learn from each other. Actually, interdisciplinary research has also been ongoing in the traditional form of research, but we know it was a very tough process. But what we see nowadays is with this kind of a revolution in technology, there is quite a lot of simplification in this process. Now, my focus is mainly on the use of technology in literature, and the highlight is artificial intelligence in literature. So, with the coming in of artificial intelligence, what we find is an era of investigation, discovery, transformation. And the research procedures, which had been so difficult to get done with, have all become streamlined due to the coming in of artificial intelligence. We also see that we are able to get access to quite a lot of data analysis in a very, very easy and simplified manner. And one more important thing is that we are able to access a number of online databases and digital libraries, and this helps us to get very easy access to a large area of literary works. So, with the coming in of AI, what we find is great development. Now, AI helps to scan huge amounts of texts, and it intimates the researcher about recurrent themes, grammatical quirks, cross textual allusions that are present in any work of art. And AI powered language translation eliminates the language boundaries. We all know, for a person who does not know maybe a vernacular language to read or write, it had been very difficult for this researcher to take up any work of art in the vernacular language. But all these have now been simplified with the coming in of AI. And nowadays, readers can even converse with characters on the interactive platforms. The role of AI in research documentation actually has made research documentation a very simplified and an easy process nowadays. Now, what we see is it helps in automating repetitive tasks, be it a data entry, be it formatting, the things which had to be done manually each time with the help of AI is now becoming quite simple. We also find how AI helps in transcription and summarization of findings. And due to its advanced search, we are able to get access to all the needed data and retrieve whatever data we want within a very short span of time. And AI also helps in data visualization as well as pattern recognition. AI helps in improving accuracy and in reducing errors. And this is something that is of great need, especially when it comes to the documentation process, because even a change in a comma or a period can result in a very significant error when it comes to documentation. And AI increases the efficiency and the processing times also. AI helps in scalability, and it also enables easy handling of large volumes of documents. And most of the AIs are accessible freely, though some of them, when we go to advanced levels, do need some payment. So, what we find is it is cost effective even for researchers who are preparing research papers. And what you also see is AI gets integrated with emerging technologies. We are able to integrate with all the upcoming emerging technologies. Now, there are a number of AI tools, and most of us are familiar now with Chat GPT. And The previous speakers before me also have put forth a number of views and ideas regarding the AI tools. But I'll just touch upon this and then we'll move on directly to AI in documentation. Now, what is the use of these AI tools? AI tools help researchers to generate ideas, review literature, create images, and present their work efficiently and accurately. AI tools provide access to printed texts by digitalizing them using the AI driven OCR, that is the optical character recognition. And this is something so very useful, especially when it comes to works of art that are out of print or are in a damaged condition, rare works. So what we find is with the use of this OCR, we are able to get easy access to such kinds of material. And most of the AI tools are easily adaptable and it makes work simple and fast. And AI tools are actually a complement to the conventional writing skills. We all know that we cannot do away with the traditional writing skills, but AI tools are just a complement to that. And AI tools help to improve the writing quality and consistency. So, what happens is we are able to have polished, error free material or error free research works ready with us. Now, I'll just bring in a few ideas regarding the AI technologies. These are terms that were used by the previous speakers also, and I just thought maybe we'll familiarize ourselves a bit with this and then we'll move on. Now, what do we mean by natural language processing? So, we as humans make use of alphabets, whereas the computer as such makes use of the digits 0 and 1. Now, as all of us can see in the screen, just the simple word hello gets converted into the numbers 100 101. So, this is the way in which the natural language processing happens. And what do we mean by machine learning? Now, all of us know that the computer has to be taught. Okay, so, for the computer to learn, first it is given data, and this data is transferred into the system in the form of algorithm. And after this, the processing takes place, and in its memory, it gets in tune or it gets trained that the figure that it sees is an apple. So it has a response that this figure is now an apple. So this is what happens in the AI technology of machine learning. And we also see the use of knowledge graphs. Knowledge graphs help in interconnecting or interrelating ideas. Now, in the example that we have here, we just have the idea that living things, okay, can be animals as well as plants. And we also know the interconnection over there. An animal is a living thing, a plant also is a living thing. So, this kind of interconnection is something that is put forth by the knowledge graph, and this is one of the technologies that we have in artificial intelligence. And cloud computing, something that is familiar with all of us today, it is a place like a library where we can store any amount of document, video, presentation, etc. And some of the AI tools that are in vogue today are tools like the Quillbot, which is used for paraphrasing and rephrasing. We also have Zotero. This was dealt with in detail in one of the sessions. And this Zotero helps in managing references and citations, and it gets integrated with artificial intelligence for auto formatting. Mentally, this also was dealt with in detail in a previous session. This helps to suggest related papers and it helps to manage references very efficiently. Now, another of the AI tools is Grammarly. This is something that is of great use, especially to researchers nowadays, because it integrates various platforms like the word processor, the web browser, and it allows researchers to receive immediate feedback as a writing process is going on. Grammarly also helps in streamlining the editing process and in ensuring that the documentation is clear, free of errors, as well as concise. Voyant tools. This is also a tool that had been dealt with, but I'm just touching upon this also because it helps in analyzing a large amount of texts. It helps in identifying the recurring themes and in uncovering hidden patterns. And this tool helps in saving time and it enhances the depth of literary studies. Researchers can also upload their texts or use the existing ones to perform the needed analysis during their research. It is a very good tool for qualitative as well as for quantitative research. Google Scholar, this is another of the AI tools that many a researcher makes use of nowadays. It helps in literature reviews, and researchers are able to locate foundational and recent works in the field of their research. Scholar also helps in citation management because it facilitates tracking and exporting citations for scholarly articles. Google Scholar allows users to identify interdisciplinary connections in research. Transcribers. This is an AI tool that streamlines the transcription process, especially in historical manuscripts, letters, and records, and it helps in making such data accessible for research and study. Transcribers helps in converting physical documents into digital texts and it enables efficient searching, analysis, as well as sharing of historical data. This tool is very valuable in the field of research where accessing and analyzing historical texts is essential. Notion AI. This is another tool that helps researchers organize and streamline their workflow. It helps to combine documentation and task management into a single platform. Notion AI allows users to generate, edit content, organize it, and link it within documents. Hypothesis.is. This is also another AI tool that promotes collaborative research, detailed analysis, and enables researchers to annotate and share insights on texts within a very short period of time. Now, following this is going to be our main area of focus, and that is AI documentation tools. So, the first AI documentation tool that I would like to suggest for all the upcoming researchers is MyBib. This is actually a free citation generator, and in fact, it is ad free also. And this AI tool helps to automatically create accurate bibliographies by allowing users to input details like URLs, ISBNs, titles, etc. Okay, all that we need is just to put forth these details and we will get the needed and accurate bibliographies following that. Another important AI documentation tool is Scribble Citation Generator. This is also an AI documentation tool that automatically provides in-text citation and reference citations. Cite Fast. is also an AI documentation tool that helps in automatic in-text citation and reference citations. Cite this for me, another AI documentation tool that helps in quick citations in multiple styles. We can choose a style of documentation that we want, and in turn, these tools will help us to generate automatically the documentation that we are in need of. Now, what are the benefits of AI driven documentation? The first thing is that it is a time saver and it reduces quite a lot of manual entry. And I'm sure researchers who have already completed their research work will accept this fact that manual entry of data is something very difficult, especially when it comes to documentation. Okay, like what happens is we tend to commit mistakes. We may not do it intentionally, but just a change in a small data will result in the documentation becoming or going wrong. But what we find is with the help of these AI documentation tools, we are able to get rid of this kind of error, and it helps also in reducing our stress and tensions. So AI driven documentation enhances accuracy, and it also helps in maintaining consistency. These tools improve collaboration among researchers, and it also helps us to handle a large volume of data and documents. And as already mentioned, these tools are cost effective and we can get the optimized or the maximum resources from such AI driven tools. Now, what are the applications of these AI documentation tools? Now, most of these AI assisted literature reviews and citations can be easily managed with the help of these AI tools. And we also see that AI powered citation managers actually streamline the process of formatting bibliographies. So, what happens is all these tedious tasks are simplified, and we can stand sure that we have accuracy as well as we are able to go in for a citation style that we are in need of. Like what happens many a time is our research tells us to focus more on the MLA handbook, the ninth edition. But when we look at research papers may ask us to go in for other styles like the APA. So what happens is we have to go through the APS style, find out what are the rules and regulations regarding that, and then do the documentation accordingly. So it means more and more of work and more of stress. But when we make use of all these AI tools or tools that help in easy documentation, what happens is the whole process becomes simplified. And we'll just have a look at some of the key features of AI powered citation managers. The first important point here is automated data extraction. So we can use artificial intelligence to extract the bibliographic information. All of us know when it comes to documentation, we are in need of certain details like the author's name, publication dates, the titles, okay, and these details can either be collected from the uploaded documents or from PDFs or even from the URLs. Now, what happens is when we upload a research paper, these artificial tools identify and organize the citation details as per our need. These AI tools help in style customization. Now, as I already mentioned, maybe what we know is the MLA style of writing. But if we have to go in for other styles like the Chicago or the APA, we can just make use of these AI tools because it automatically formats these references. And maybe we can even switch between different styles. as per our preference or as per the requirements of the journal for which we are preparing a research paper. AI tools offer smart suggestions. They recommend appropriate references based on the context of writing. So, just based on the keywords that we put forth, these AI tools suggest related articles or books. Okay, so these are suggestions that are provided to the researcher to help in augmenting the research process. AI tools help in error detection, and not just error detection, they also help in correction. So while the writing process is going on or while the documentation is going on, these AI tools identify the inconsistencies or the missing information in references and they even suggest corrections. For example, if a digital object identifier number is missing, what happens is the AI tool will put this forth across to us and it will instruct us or just intimate us that this data is missing. So while we are checking or while we are going on with the process of documentation, we can very clearly bring in the needed corrections in the needed times. AI tools help in collaboration. So these tools help us to share reference libraries within groups or even within co-authors so as to ensure uniform citation styles. AI tools also help in cross-platform integration by seamlessly integrating with writing tools like the Microsoft Word, the Google Docs, LaTeX. Okay, all these are used for in-text citations as well as for bibliographic generations. For example, when we write the artificial intelligence, some tools like Informatica, Power Center, Scrivener, YWriter generate a live biography at the document's end. So there itself, we are able to get all the needed information and integrate all that we need as per our need. Database integration is also possible through these AI tools because it helps in connection to online databases like PubMed, Crossref, or even Google Scholar to provide metadata retrieval in a very accurate form. And we also see that these tools employ citation managers to automatically format bibliographies. Now, what is the process to be followed for documentation through AI? So, I'll just explain this as 4 points and then we'll just go in for a demo regarding this. So, the first is the input source. Okay. We can upload a research paper and add the DOI or even paste the URL. And the second step in this process is the AI extraction, where the AI tool scans the source and extracts the bibliographic details. The third step in this process is choosing the needed or preferred citation style. As already mentioned, we have a number of citation styles like the APA, MLA, Chicago, etc. So we can choose the style for citation that we are in need of. And the last step is the generation of the bibliography, where the AI tool automatically generates a formatted bibliography. And all that we have to do is just directly copy it and paste it into our document. So we'll go in for a sample now with MyBib. So I hope this screen is visible to everyone. Now, Here is the MyBib AI documentation tool, and this is actually easy for us to access. All that we have to do is get into the web browser like Google, and we have to type the tool, the AI tool that we need. Here, the AI tool that I have opened is MyBib, because this is what is going to help me in generating the needed documentation. And always remember to go in for the first link, because this is where we will get access to the official page. And this is how the interface will look like. And following this, we have to choose the article that we want the documentation data for. Now, here I just have a sample where there is an article on AI based human resource management tools and techniques, a systematic literature review. And the first thing that I have to do is to copy the URL. So I'll just copy the URL, and this copied URL has to be pasted in the MyBib official page. Okay, so here as you see, I've pasted the URL of the article, and I go in for a search. So once I go in for the search, you can see on the screen that all the needed details are visible on screen on the MyBib page. So as you can also see, it automatically generates the documentation in the style that I wanted. Actually, you can change. For example, if I want the MLA 9th edition, I'll have to change the style, because all these will be visible over here. I mean, we have these options to change the style. So I'll have to just type MLA 9th edition, and once I have chosen the style that I want, in accordance with the style that I want, the documentation will be available. You can just see on the screen. All that I have done is given the URL, okay, chosen the style that I want, and in accordance, the AI MyBit has generated the documentation in the right format. As you can see here, actually, it's the same article that has been pasted thrice. And we know the MLA handbook rules also. When an author's name gets repeated, what has to be done is you should not retype the author's name again. That's why on the screen you can see the use of the three dashes followed by a period. And along with this, we also see how we can bring about. Now, if I need to add maybe another citation, okay, I can even go in here. I'll just go in for the example of a journal here. So in the journal, what I have to do is select the title of the journal article, copy it, and paste it, and go in for the search. But please remember, when you go in for the journal title, you will have a number of related articles that get displayed, but the article that we need is highlighted. So we should be very careful to make sure that this is the article that we need, and the needed data, as you see, all the bibliographic details are given below. Now, this is an article, okay, where you can see all the bibliographic details are shown. Okay, the article's author, the first author, the second author, the title of the article, the date of publication, the page numbers, the DOI, the URL. Okay, all these data are visible for the researcher. So we can just cross check it and make sure this is what we need. And following this, we can just go in for. Now here there is a problem. The small problem that I have here is I've already put in the details or copy the details of this particular article. So it asks me, do you want a duplicate? So when I say yes, what happens is the same data gets again pasted for me. So you see, this is actually a very, very useful and simple tool in the field of documentation. And as I already told you, we have other tools that I've already mentioned. Please check these up because these are very, very useful tools. For we can choose whichever style we want, to whichever format we want, and get our data in the right format automatically without any stress, without any manual work, or without any kinds of tensions. Okay. Now, once this list is created, what we can do is we can download the works cited. And when we download the works cited, we have different options. We can either copy it and paste it, or we can get it downloaded in Word format, the Google Drive, in our mail. Hey, you see, quite a lot of options are available with MyBib. That is why one of my suggestions, my personal suggestions for the research scholars is to make use of this AI tool, MyBib. I'll just give you the example of saving it in the Word format, and you see here it is now available in the Word format. Okay, all beautifully without any mistake cited. So the works cited list that generally causes quite a lot of tension and agony to researchers is very simply prepared by this AI tool, MyBib. I hope the process is clear to everyone. So, dear researchers, dear scholars, do make use of this tool, MyBib, in documentation to simplify your work. So, following this demo, we'll just come back again to the presentation. Now, human intelligence can never be done away with. And we also know that AI, remember, is something that is prepared only with human intelligence. So AI should never replace human intelligence. AI should be used to complement, and it should be used as a catalyst only to revolutionize the research practices or the research process. But there should always be emphasis on striking a balance between human expertise with AI capabilities. Remember, we can never do away with the human intelligence. And in the present world of science, technology, and revolution, we cannot do away also with AI. So we should know how to strike a balance between these two. And it's also very, very important for all researchers to cross check the work that has been done by any AI tool. Now, while listening to some of the previous talks, I'm sure you researchers would have heard that even Chat GPT can commit mistakes when we give the wrong commands. Maybe what we have in mind is different from what has been fed into the AI tool. So it's always very important to cross check and make sure that the data that we have with us is accurate and original. So AI tools should be used for innovation and efficiency. And being in this digital age, all researchers should learn how to use these tools very efficiently in order to optimize the potential. And AI tools should be used for polishing and improving language. And we should also ensure that the outputs that we have with us are correct and relevant, because many a time if you go in for a synonym, maybe the synonym that you have chosen may not fit into the context in which that word is being used. So we should be very careful that what AI has generated is correct as well as relevant. So, some of the best practices that we have in this digital world is AI generated content is always validated. And we should also know how to tailor the AI tools to the specific needs of our particular research field. All of us know different areas of research need different kinds of specializations and different kinds of outlooks. So we should tailor the AI tools that are with us to suit our specific needs. And we should also ensure sensitive data shared with AI tools is handled securely. Many a time, there are possibilities of sensitive data getting misinterpreted. So, we should be very careful with privacy compliance. And we can make use of AI tools for skill enhancement in the sense it helps to optimize the available potential. So, we have to take the step forward in this digital world. All of us must be AI literates. Gone is the age when people asked whether we are literates, and now is the age when we are asked whether we are AI literates. So, all of us have to be AI literates. We have to explore the AI tools that are available within our domain and advocate for AI integration in research practices at institutional as well as personal levels. But remember, this integration should be done critically and ethically. Thank you very much, and I do hope I have been reachable to the various listeners from different fields. And I would like to thank the SRM University for having invited me to today's online lecture and presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for your valuable suggestions and insights, ma'am. This will really take us to the next level of our research, and it's a time saving thing. Thank you so much, ma'am. So, we have come to the end of this session, and now we will have a vote of thanks. So, now I invite Mrs. Devalakshmi, ma'am, to deliver vote of thanks.
Evening, everyone present here. It gives me immense pleasure to propose vote of thanks at this juncture. We have come to the end fourth day of our workshop on next-gen research tools. As we wrap up the insightful session, it's my honor to deliver the vote of thanks. Firstly, I would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed speaker and resource person, Dr. Sydney Shirley, who shared her expertise with us today. Your presentation provided us with deeper insights into the topic, revolutionizing research, AI-driven documentation. We are truly grateful for your time and dedication, ma'am. I thank our management for giving the opportunity to organize this event. A special thanks goes to our head of the department, Dr. P. Sridevi, for encouraging us to come out with flying colors in all our academic endeavors. I thank the organizing committee members and the department faculty members for their constant support and dedication towards the success of the program. I'd also like to thank our participants for their enthusiastic engagement and participation. Your active participation has contributed greatly to the richness of our discussions, making this workshop a collaborative and enriching experience for all. Thank you all once again for your valuable contributions today. Have a wonderful evening, and I look forward to seeing you all back here tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
So we have come to the end of the fourth session, and today we will wrap up the session. And tomorrow, the fifth day, the final day, we'll have another one interesting sessions. And meet you all tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you all.